Hey guys, Phylaris here with the first look at the new champion Nilah. She's intended to be an AD carry, but she has really crazy AoE and damage, and as a result, she actually has by far one of the fastest clears in the game. Now, when it comes to her jungle viability, she has a kit that's actually fairly similar to Diana. Prior to level 6, she's missing CC for ganks, but she does have great clear, damage, and a double dash. Once she hits level 6, she gets an AoE ultimate that pulls targets in just like Diana's. Now, I'm gonna let the rest of the clear play, and afterwards I'll give a quick rundown of how her kit works and the most important things to keep in mind while you're clearing. Okay, now Nilah's kit is actually fairly straightforward. Her passive means that when she's dual laning or sharing experience with someone else from a lane, they will be getting a reduced EXP penalty from sharing. So this means that she's supposed to go AD carry with a support, but even from the jungle, you end up getting some effect from this because whenever you gank, oftentimes you'll help your laner push out the lane afterwards. And Nilah and her laner will be getting higher EXP than with any other jungler. The other part of her passive means that she has great synergy with enchanters. Whenever they heal or shield themselves or Nilah when she's nearby, they will both be getting a little bit of extra healing and shielding. Nilah's Q. Spawn a dummy here real quick. It's kind of like a line whip effect. Normally Nilah has 225 attack range, but if she hits something with this Q, and it's very, very low cooldown, she will gain 125 extra attack range, and it goes up to 350. She will also gain some attack speed, and her attacks will become AoE. So if I spawn another dummy here, for example, let me turn off these minions. You can see that both of these guys are getting hit by my autos. Now, in the jungle, this works the same way, except the damage is reduced if it's not your primary target. So let me spawn these minions real quick, right? So if I hit this guy, you can see that I'm doing my full damage to the big raptor here, and I am doing extra AoE damage to the little raptors, but not as much as with the big raptor. So it is reduced on jungle camps. Outside of that, Nilah has scaling with percent crit, and the more crit she has, the more armor penetration she has, and the more healing she gets against champions. Her W, Jubilant Veil, level up here. She gets a little bit of extra movement speed. She becomes ghosted. She dodges attacks just like Jax, and she reduces magic damage taken. It's a very, very long cooldown. It's not very much movement speed. And if she touches an ally in this form, then she gives the effect to them as well for just a little bit, 1.5 seconds. Generally speaking, you don't really use this in your clear. The cooldown is just too long. You save it for the actual gank and fights. E, Slipstream. This works on a charge ammo system, has pretty long recharge time at 24 seconds. Pretty straightforward ability. Let me level up here. You basically just dash through a target. It can be your ally target, it can be enemy targets, and if it's an enemy target, then it'll deal damage to that target and anything else that you pass through. This is a fixed distance dash, so if I start far away, I'll dash to here. If I start very close, I'll dash very far. Now, you can interrupt this by going into walls, just like this, right? And the important thing about this is both Nilah's Q and her E function as auto attack resets. So if I reset my mana here, let's say I do an auto Q auto, right? Your next auto will come out very, very quickly. Same thing with her E. It is an auto attack reset. Now, if you don't do it into a wall, you don't have very much effect because the dash is quite long. If you do it into a wall, then you get a very fast reset like this, right? And you can use this every now and then in the jungle. She doesn't use her E that much while clearing because the cooldown, the recharge is very, very long, but it's very similar to dashing into walls as Graves, as Kayn, as Kindred, for example. Now back to her clear. You open with an auto Q auto. It's very easy to kite with Nilah because her attack range is so long. Your Q cooldown is shorter than the actual duration of the buff, so you can keep your extra range, attack speed, and AoE up permanently. Make sure to time your auto Q auto rotations to make the most out of your auto attack resets. You take E at level 2 and open on the Krugs with a Q auto, E auto. Then you just continue Q autoing, making sure to try to position so that you hit all the Krugs with your AoE. Once the medium Krugs are at about half HP, you can begin to kite them up towards Raptors. If you're not confident with the patience and you're scared of resetting the Krugs, you can check out my patience guide to learn how Krugs patience works. I'll link it down in the video description below. As you enter Raptors, auto the first little Raptor to cluster them together for your Q, and then just walk into position so that your attack cone hits all the Raptors. After your second Q, you can begin kiting over to the Wolves, and then you finish the Raptors off with a final Q auto as you go. Open on Wolves with a Q auto, E auto, just like Krugs, and begin to kite them upwards. Nilah's clear is honestly really straightforward once you get used to it. There's nothing really complicated about it, and it's really easy to kite. Pull the blue buff over to the Gromp, smite or auto the Gromp to pull it, then walk back to the other side of blue for a double camp Q. Then you pretty much just stand still and finish the two off together with your AoE. Make sure to alternate your autos to keep your red buff ticking on both camps, and watch out for the patience so you don't accidentally reset them. Thanks for watching. A quick reminder that I do coach over at nice.gg if you want to check that out. The link is in the video description below. As always, a big thank you to my patrons for helping to make this channel possible.